place is actually really beautiful. I'm here in Zaphorizhia, eastern Ukraine. It's the first time I've seen it in daylight, I think. Normally it's the middle of the night when I pass through. But today I'm heading up to Kyiv with Ukraine International Airlines on board an Embraer 145. I've flown UIA before on international routes, but never domestically, so interesting to see what it's going to be like on a domestic flight and how they compare to Motorsit, which is the only other domestic airline that I've flown with here.
First step on today's trip was to grab an Uber to the airport. Zaphorizhia airport is about 20 minutes away from the city and it can be quite difficult to get there. Taxis are cheap but often in a poor condition, and Uber only works if you're starting in the city centre. Otherwise you can call for an Uber and it will just never turn up because it's not really worth them driving 20 minutes out of town for what is usually a £2 fare. There's two terminals at Zaphorizhia airport and they both consist of a tiny departure hall with just one check-in desk. Security in Ukraine is usually pretty quick and simple. There's no need to take out your liquids or electronics in Ukraine's smaller airports. Once through security there isn't much there either, just a small cafeteria and a TV playing Ukrainian soap operas. Thank you. Outside on the apron there were two aircraft waiting, an Embraer 145 and an MD-80 that had just arrived after a charter flight from Sharm el-Sheikh, operating a flight for Ukraine Airlines. Our aircraft today is operated by Windrose Airlines on behalf of UIA. Windrose operate many of UIA's domestic routes on a fleet of Embraer 145s. This was originally delivered to British Airways City Express in 2001 and operated for BA until 2007 when it went on to Flybe. In 2008 it was bought by Ukrainian airline Dnipro-Avia and it entered Windrose's fleet in 2017. Windrose's Embraers have the standard Embraer seating arrangement with 2 seats on one side and just one on the other. There's a few rows of business class at the front in the same configuration. Today I was seated in the second from last row. These rows are a great place to sit on the Embraer as they give a good view of both the engine and the wing, but it does take a while to get through the cabin to the back. Pretty soon everyone was on board and the doors closed for our short flight up to Kyiv.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Pedro, Captain of Tunnel, Pedro, you would like to welcome on board the Embraer 145 aircraft, shortly departing from Kyiv from the region to Kyiv. My name is Lisa and my co-pilot Aleksander, cabin crew members on the flight. Our flight to Kyiv will take an hour. Please let the table in front of you put it in the upright position and fasten your seatbelt. Ask you to put it fasten the button during the whole flight. The use of electronic devices not allowed in safety takeoff and landing procedures restricted to cabin crew.
Taxiing at Ukrainian airports is always interesting and there's invariably a huge variety of Soviet aircraft parked up.
Добрий день, шановні пані та панове, раді командир, afternoon, dear ladies and 5 aircraft which carries a flight to Kyiv airport Boryspil.
Our flight today then took us northwest from Zaphorizhia, following the course of the Dnieper River up to Kyiv. Flight time today was 57 minutes at a cruising altitude of 24,000 feet. Windrose's safety cards are very colourful. They operate a lot of holiday charter routes, and that influence is pretty clear in the safety cards. There isn't a food service included on UIA's domestic flights, but you can purchase a range of snacks in advance on UIA's website. I'd pre-ordered a cheese and tomato panini for a cost of 110 hryvnia, or around £3.50. To be honest, it probably wasn't worthwhile. It didn't taste that great, and I'd probably have got better value for money getting something at Boryspil Airport. There's complimentary tea, coffee and water served on board too. UIA are known in Ukrainian as Международные авиалинии Украины, or MAU in Ukrainian. There was an interesting piece about UIA's Boeing 777s in their magazine that they use on their long-haul routes. Their fleet also includes the older Boeing 767 and a lot of 737s that are used on the European and Central Asian routes. Their route network extends from New York in the west to China in the east. Domestically, the Ukrainian conflict in the east of the country has resulted in two former destinations, Luhansk and Donetsk airports, being destroyed and subsequently removed from the route network. On international flights and domestic flights operated by UIA, there's a decent selection of buy-on-board meals available, albeit pretty expensive. After our short flight, the seatbelt sign came on and we commenced our descent down into Kiev's Boryspil airport. As we landed, we were followed in by a BA A320 arriving from Heathrow. My flight today cost me £47 or $57 US. This works out at a cost of 17 pence per mile for the 264-mile journey. Even though it's only 260 odd miles, the train from Zaphorizhia to Kyiv takes over 10 hours and driving takes almost 8 hours, so the plane really is the only way to go. Motor-Sich also operate this route, but into Juliani airports with a combination of Antonovs and Yaks for a very similar price. As we taxied in, a few people got up to empty the overhead lockers, which went completely ignored by the flight attendant. Overall, UIA's domestic service is pretty decent. It's not as fun as riding Motorsic for sure, you don't get food included, it's more expensive and you do end up miles from Kyiv when you fly into Borispil, but you get a decent service and a good choice of onward connections from Borispil. More crucially for me, the flight time meant that I didn't have to get up crazy early for the morning Antonov flight, and I got a few hours in Zaphorizhia before my flight. So more importantly, you've seen Motorsic before, and now you've seen the competition. Which one would you choose? The Antonov 24 with Motorsic, or the Embraer 145 with UIA? Let me know down in the comments. In the meantime, as always, thank you for watching, take care, and I'll see you next time here on In-Flight Video.